Speaking of politics, let's join our Friday night regular, Campbell Newman. Now, Campbell, latest job figures revealed 34,000 jobs lost in June. That makes the unemployment rate now at 4.3%, highest level since 2021. It does lead to some speculation the Reserve Bank may cut interest rates again. But I tell you what, this to me tells me that the lag effect is at play here. You know better than me, but I know so many people who've worked at companies that have either gone bust, gone into receivership, or they've been made redundant. I think the reality is catching up here and starting to hit the road. What do you think?
Well, the real economy, Steve, outside the bubble of federal, state and local government is actually crumbling at the edges because they're being hit with a blizzard of regulation, high energy costs, crazy environmental regulations and red tape everywhere you go, and poor IR legislation. So there is a lag effect that's occurring. If it wasn't for the massive numbers of people that have been essentially employed in government or federal government funded business, particularly the NDIS, the numbers would have been falling away some time ago. So it's no surprise to me. I mean, you know, like I have just employed a young intern in my own business in the last week or so, and that was quite a decision. And I'm paying a young person who has to be, you know, taken by the hand, very bright young person, but has to be sort of given a total attention during the working day. Got to pay them $29 an hour as a casual, plus 12% super, plus the impost of the state's workers' compensation scheme. My premiums have gone up, double-digit increase in the last 12 months. I could go on. To take on an employee at the moment in Australia is not for the faint-hearted. So, you know, and what pains me, Steve, is, you know, all this talk now about productivity from people who've done nothing but in the last 3 years crush productivity and incentive. And all the narrative of these people is all about higher taxes. We're just being groomed to expect that taxes have to go up. And I say, no, they don't have to go up. And for people in the senior sort of ranks of the top echelons of the business community, stop accepting that. Start arguing for lower taxes, for a complete look at regulation in this country, and, you know, looking at perhaps what's going on in Argentina, where the president there has absolutely turned that country around in the past 12 to 18 months. Those are things I'd like to see the national conversation looking at.
Yeah, I mean, you make an excellent point, and you know, I've written about this weekend in the Herald Sun. We're being run by people who've never actually had to run a business themselves. They've never, like you, employed anyone. They haven't had to write out or transfer money to the state government for work cover. They haven't had to pay out, you know, 12% superannuation. These people, I mean, and I'm not being abstract here. I'm talking about, you know, Anthony Albanese, Jim Chalmers, Jacinta Allen, before her Daniel Andrews. They're all professional politicians. They've all been advisors to other political ministers. They've never, ever had to put their own bank account on the line to survive, have they?
Look, they haven't, but sadly, mate, the Liberal Party are full of people like that now at state and federal level as well. I mean, it's slightly better than Labor, but, you know, they've caught the same sort of disease with the staffers coming through or the industry associations. You know, that's what really pains me. You know, like take the housing crisis, the affordability crisis. One word, government has caused that crisis through all sorts of imposts on new homes, through the red tape to stop the delivery of new homes, through the industrial relations environment where the CFMEU were allowed to run riot, and through things like the moronic new national sort of building energy requirements, which really focuses on sort of energy efficiency. I mean, Steve, I'd love to do a show with you, with Sky, about the stupidity of this new housing code nationally, which is, you know, I've come across in terms of a renovation, a small renovation of my own home. But it goes on and on and on in Australia, and I think that actually things are now cracking up. And that's why these unemployment stats will be going the wrong way, unless, of course, Jim Chalmers decides to spend even more money on make work programs funded by government.
Well, speaking of Chalmers, I mean, we see leaked documents this week that show that Treasury is telling him and the government that their housing promises are a pipe dream. They're not going to happen.
Of course they are. They're a complete fantasy. And it's because government is seeking top-down, Steve, to try and deliver these outcomes where what needs to happen is the shackles need to be taken off. That's what's happened in Argentina with Milei. The shackles have been taken off the private sector and entrepreneurial spirits are now running wild, and actually the country is rebooting. And that would happen in Australia if these idiot politicians across the political spectrum would get the hell out of the way and actually understand that deregulation in 2025 is what it's going to take to reboot Australia. That's what's required.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Always a pleasure to catch up. Thank you, Campbell Newman there.